Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. We're here going to be doing a garage review of the Defender Mark 1, which is, I thought it was a hybrid nation tank, but it's clearly not. It is in fact a British Tier 8 premium medium tank, not a heavy tank, medium tank, with an autoloader. Yeah, an English tank with an autoloader that isn't the 87. With that ridiculous 6-pounder 10-shell autoloader it has for some reason. But yeah, we're going to be having a look at this thing, which is yeah, pretty interesting. So obviously medium tank. I'm not particularly great at medium tanks, but it looks cool, and that's why I got it. It has 1450 HP, that's what I tried to say, which in comparison to something like the Type 58, which normally has, let's call it 1300? Yeah, 1300 normally has, or the T34-3, which has got 1300 again, or indeed, where's another medium? Let's have a look at this one, the T95E2, which has got 1500. Or well, more like 1450. So yeah, it's got a decent amount of HP in comparison to some of the other medium tanks. Let's have a look at the Panther 2, which has got 1450, I think, if I take off the equipment here. Yeah, roughly 1450. So yeah, overall it's got a pretty decent HP pool, which is, you know, quite a nice thing to see. It's not too under HP. It's got pretty alright armour, to be honest. The turret front, 254. Yeah, that's quite a strong frontal turret. That's comparable to even some tier 9 and 10 tanks. There's not really much else at this tier which has got that range of armour, apart from something like the 88 Tiger, which has got you know, 250 for that frontal upper casemate, and 200 for the front hull right there, based on the Tiger 2. So yeah, that's very strong. Also, this stuff I think acts as spaced armour. These well, yeah, these just spaced armour extra, you know, additional armour package type things on here, which are just basically bits of metal stuck onto pikes, which attach to the side of the turret. Those actually count as extra armour as well, I think. So it has got that going for it. 90 side and rear turret, 76 frontal hull, 52 side, 40 rear. It's not as well armoured on the hull. The front can bounce some shots due to that angled frontal armour, and let me just compare it quickly to something like the Centurion Mark 7. Yeah, the Centurion, the Centurion 1, which has got 76 frontal hull as well, and if we have a look at that, yeah, it's sort of the same deal. As you can see, that same front sloped at a decent angle, which, a fun fact, the Centurion was designed to combat the Tiger 88mm. So there you go, fun fact. So yeah, frontal armour is not too shabby. Decent enough frontal hull, if you can angle it and get some lucky bounces off it, definitely. Or you can go hull down and get some good bounces from your turret. It's a pretty good hunkered down tank, and it is basically a Centurion which has been modified. I would like to point that out. You can sort of tell from the chassis there, as we looked at the Cent 1 and we then compared it to, yeah, the Defender. It's basically a Cent, which has got some additional bits and pieces here and there. So yeah, overall armour not too shabby. 260 meters view range, which is, yeah, not too shabby. Manoeuvrability, it's very mobile. I do like it. 37 average speed, kilometers per hour, 46 top, 20 reverse. Yeah, a fairly mobile tank in comparison to, I was going to say the CDC, but that's not exactly a fair comparison. Let's compare it to something like the Panther 2, which would have also been a late war medium. In comparison to this, 31 average speed, 55. Slightly different power to weight. So the Panther 2, technically ever so slightly more mobile. However, this has got a far better power to weight, even if it is slightly slower. Tire traverse 37.55 degrees per second, hull traverse 46.93. That's not too bad at all. Yeah, fairly mobile, like I said. 950 horsepower engine with this Rolls-Royce Griffon B, which is a very Centurion sounding name, even though the turret and suspension say Defender. Yeah, okay. But then we come to the main attraction, which is the gun. So overall mobility fairly good, armour as well, also not too bad except for the sides and rears, which is yeah, not as good. Ignore Discord there, that was my Discord going off, don't worry about it. But yeah, so here we come to the gun, which, as I thought, was a 20-pounder in my gameplay. I wasn't too sure, because as you know, I like to go straight into the gameplay without looking at the stats and just see how the tank feels, rather than getting my view of the tank skewed by the base stats. So yeah, it is a 20-pounder gun, but it's a 20-pounder autoloader, which is quite interesting, quite exciting. So 3.3 second aim time, which is not too bad. Very good dispersion, 0.32. Mag reload time, about 17.25 seconds, which is not too bad, really. It's maybe slightly longer than you might want, but overall it's pretty good in comparison to the Lecompton has got a single shot. Surely I've got an autoloader here at tier 8. I mean, yes, I have. I've got a Defender and a Defender as well, but then they're not exactly fair comparisons. But even so, in comparison to these, this has got a 22-second reload time, with 3 shells in the magazine doing 400 average damage, which means 1200 if you get, every shot on target, and do a bunch of damage. That's pretty good. As for this, again, 21.5 second reload time, but again 400 average damage. This is 17.25, but for it you're doing about 800 damage, which is not too bad. I guess it's alright in comparison to the mag reload time, but even so I think maybe a 15-second reload might have been slightly better, just because you're still doing a good decent amount of damage. You're doing, let's say each shot does slightly above average, you're still doing 800 damage with a full mag, which is about half of someone's health at tier 8. But even so, I think it's slightly too long for my liking. But still, 2 seconds in between each shell, yeah, fair enough. 4 shells in the mag, yeah, okay, that's pretty decent. You can do a lot of things with 4 shells, as you will see in the gameplay. Average pen, 226, 258 with APCR and 42 with HE. That's pretty good. That is very good average pen. I think it's on par with the Tiger 2's 105, which is pretty good considering this was the British response to the long 88. Average damage, 190, 160, 250. Yeah, that's fairly standard. What is it? 105 mil? I don't think it. 83 mil. It's 83 mil. Okay. Yeah. 80. Yeah. So direct response to the 88. Of course it is. So yeah, 83 mil. Which for a gun of around this caliber, I think the 88 does what, 220. So yeah, it's slightly lower caliber, so slightly less average damage. But even so, that's still pretty good damage considering you are doing 800 damage in 8 seconds. Which is not too bad. So yeah, overall, it's a pretty decent gun. Good accuracy. Slightly too long reload for my liking, but yeah, good accuracy. It has got good aim time, good penetration, decent enough damage. The tank overall, fairly mobile, and it's got pretty decent armour. It's a very good premium tank based on those stats. Also, it looks very cool. Look at it. It's got the extra armour. It's got a little picture of a crown with some wings. It's got the Mark Defender on there. It's got the British flag. It's got the, special electric engine, which, we have seen already on something like the T28 Defender, the IS-3 Defender, or the Y5 tanks for the 5 years of Blitz. And yeah, it's also got all of the same trappings as the Defender and the Y5s, where they all have got that testing facility look, which I think is a pretty cool look. So yeah, overall very nice premium. Now, consumables, you've of course got repair, first aid, fire. I haven't actually set this thing up. I haven't realised. I haven't actually set this thing up to how I normally have it. I can't believe I played 3 games in this and didn't realise that. But yeah. So consumables, repair, first aid, fire, the normal. You've got the engine power boost, 20% to engine power for 15 seconds, but you don't have adrenaline. The reason you don't have adrenaline is because it's an autoloader. Autoloaders don't get adrenaline. They also have slightly different equipment they can mount, but no adrenaline because it doesn't technically have a loader. The loader is an automatic system. So yeah, no loader, so no adrenaline. And then you've got your multi-purpose, which is those 3 rolled into one, so you can go ahead and mount them as you want. No changes to appearance because, you know, it has a unique camo pattern, the same as something like the T34 Independence. Provisions, of course, standard and improved fuel for 3 and 10% respectively to engine power and turret traverse. You've got black tea and tea and pudding for 10%, 3 and 10% crew mastery. And then you've got your protective kit, 15% protection of crew from injuries, 10% speed module repair, 20% fire protection, and 10% ammo and fuel tank durability, which is, you know, nice all-round buffs. But so yeah, you can mount them as you wish. As for the ammo, 64 rounds. You're never going to get through 64 rounds, so yeah, you can go ahead and mess around with those as you wish. You know, you can take some APCR, some HE, and your regular AP. You don't need a lot of APCR. You've got decent enough penetration to get through most things at your tier with relative ease. But then we come to the equipment. So you've of course got your improved vents, where you can get your mag reload time down to 16.88 second reload. Very nice. Or calibrated shells. You don't need calibrated shells. I'd say improved vents because it gives a bonus not only to your reload time and therefore DPM, but also to everything else. Dispersion, turret traverse, hull traverse. You know, your entire crew gets a nice buff. So improved vents is what you're going to want. Improved modules. Comparison to defense system, improved modules is still the better option because you get the extra track, fuel tank, and ammo rack durability. You don't really need it for the damage from ramming, although you are a medium tank, so ramming is a slightly viable option. You are fast enough to do it. So yeah, improved modules for the you know, 20% damage to yourself from ramming. So you know, that's always nice. And then coated optics because you're a medium, you don't sit around, you're not a tank destroyer or a light tank, so you don't need a camo net, so coated optics is what you're going to want. Enhanced gun lane drive, you don't need it. You know, you've got very good aim time already. 3.2 seconds is a very quick aim time, so you don't need the enhanced gun lane drive. So I'd say supercharge for the extra shell velocity and the decrease in penetration over distance. And then I wouldn't go with enhanced armor. I would go with the improved assembly for the extra HP. Just because your armor is good but not spectacular. It's not something like the Mouse or, you know, some of the other super heavies like, you know, the Doom Turtle, those sorts of things. So I wouldn't say enhanced armor. I would say improved assembly for the extra HP so that you can survive longer in the battle and help your team therefore. Improved control, you don't need it. Your hull traverse is still very good already. What is it, 47 degrees per second? You don't need improved control. That's just a waste. I would go with the engine accelerator for the better power to weight and a slight buff to your hull traverse, and also the extra engine power and slightly better average top speed. This definitely for your power to weight for getting up hills, because you are, you know, you're a relatively fast medium tank. You wolfpack people. That's the tier 8 meta, I think. But yeah, I would go with engine accelerator. Vert stabs is probably the better option over a refined gun, because you are a medium tank. You want to be shooting on the move, circling around all of the slow heavy tanks, outflanking people, the usual medium tank stuff. And for that, firing on the move, as you can see there, 15% accuracy during movement and turret traverse, vert stabs is going to be more useful. Plus you've already got 0.331 dispersion. That's still very, very accurate, so you don't need refined gun. That's again just a waste. You don't need to be that accurate. You're gonna be accurate enough over long range with what you've got. And then your choice of enhanced tracks or toolbox, honestly you can go with either one, and your choice of whatever the hell those two things are. So overall the Defender Mark 1 is a very good premium medium tank. It's very fun. It's got a different playstyle for your British tanks. Plus, it's basically a Centurion, but with better armour, with the, you know, extra add-on armour packages, and with a autoloader. And, you know, it just looks cool, because it's, in lore-wise, lore-wise of World of Tanks Blitz, this tank was made by the same guy who invented the IS-3 Defender, the T28 Defender, all of the Y5 series of tanks, and yeah, you can see where they got the inspiration for this from. So yeah, it's just a very unique looking tank, and it's pretty fun, and it's a pretty good tank as well. So yeah, there you go, that's the Defender. Pick it up when you can. I'll thank you all for watching, and goodbye.